Hello and welcome to another Edexcel iGCSE ICT past paper question. This is the 2020 paper. This is the practical paper and we're now doing section B. For section A, please see previous videos. This paper is dated May 2020, but it actually came out in November of 2020. Because of COVID restrictions, it wasn't done till November. But it's still the most, at the time of making this video, the most up-to-date. So without further ado, let's go and jump in and have a look at the question. Now we'll jump in and look at section B. This is task B1. Now you've got section A and section B for this paper, and we've already covered section A. Section B is also 50% of your marks, and what you've got in section B is the spreadsheet question here, which makes up the majority of those marks. It's quite a big question, this. So this is task B1. Now to answer task B1, what you need to have is this spreadsheet here. If I just move this across here, we need this spreadsheet, okay? And I've linked in the description to my Dropbox where the spreadsheet is. You can download it and try it out yourself. So what are we going to be making? This is what I've modeled. This is the model here. We've got, if we look at this, we've got cost per night. We've got VLOOKUP in there. We've got another VLOOKUP in there. We've got a simple multiplication and an addition. Then we've got a rather complex kind of if statement in there, which I'll go through in detail. We've got the final income there, all formatted, so as we can see some formatting there at the top, and if we scroll down we see some formatting at the bottom. We've got a double underline there. Then we've got a count A, which I'll go through, an average, and a sum there to work out. So we'll close that down and we'll go and have a look at the question then. Paper 2. So you open the spreadsheet accommodation, and details of accommodation, holiday booked in 2019. And you've got two worksheets here, which you need to be aware of. Bookings and details. So you're going to need to use a VLOOKUP there, which we'll go through as we go through the question. So you open the spreadsheet accommodation, open the worksheet, bookings, and enter your name, candidate number, and centre number in the header. That means in the header of the spreadsheet. So this isn't about this. You're going to be printing off the spreadsheet. You're not going to be doing screenshots for this. So it's really important we go to now. Easiest way to edit the header is to go to page layout. And we can see the header up here. Okay, this is what we're going to be working on. So it doesn't say is it centered or is it left or right hand justified. It doesn't say, it just says enter task B1, your name, candidate number and center number in the header. Okay, so I'll just go here. I just put them in order and just use all of that. So I'm going to put task B1 here. Okay, on the left there. In the center, I'm going to put my name. So I put the name there. Maybe on the right, I put my candidate number there and center. Okay, so when that's done, we need to go back to view and we need to go to normal, because you need to be in normal to be able to work on the spreadsheet. Right. So we jump in and start getting some marks from this. Task B1A, insert a new row at the top of the spreadsheet and enter headings, bookings in 2019. Let's do that now. Okay, right click, insert, easiest way to do that. Okay, so we inserted a row and enter bookings in 2019. Okay, so let's just go to A1 and write bookings in 2019. Great. That's 2 marks. Merge and center A1 to H1. So I select A1 to H1, home, merge and center. 1 mark, 2 marks there. Set the formatting of the heading to font size 18. Let's do that first. We'll change this to 18 first. Okay, we can just do it like this till we get to 18. That's 18. Font style, serif. What does that mean? Is that an actual font? What that means is a font that has serifs on it. So any one of these where you can see kind of little lines on the letter. So Adobe Garamond Pro, that would do. That's a serif font. And I've been through serif fonts before in this video. We talked about sans serif and serif font. For a serif font, you're looking at a font where you can see the little lines on the B there. That's what you want. It looks something like that. If you're not sure what font to use, I'll default to Times New Roman. Okay, that would be my advice there. Font enhancement, bold. So I just need to make that bold. Right, done. Okay, easy. Format cells A1 to H34 to show a double border. Simply highlight A1 to H down to H34. Okay, and I want to be selecting top and bottom border like that. Okay, so that's showing my double border there. And that completes B1A. This is B1B. Lucien wants you to use a spreadsheet tool to analyze the data of the accommodation on offer. Use a spreadsheet functions too, and we'll take it one bullet point at a time. Display the cost per night for Moonlight. Okay, let's go and do that now. Cost per night. We need to write something in here, and what we're going to do is use a VLOOKUP. Okay, so equals VLOOKUP, and we can see that Excel is helping you out with the spreadsheet. What do you want to look up? Okay, the first thing I want to look up, peak season 1, comma. Okay, next part, from where does that data come from? It's from this table here. I'm going to highlight the table, comma. From that table there, from where does it come from? What column does that data come from? It's column B. So I'm going to put 2. Okay, I don't put B, I put 2 because it's column 2, comma. And this one is always going to be false. Okay, I don't want an approximate match. I want an exact match. So we're always going to be selecting false there. Close brackets. Okay, is that correct? Peak season 1, 150. Yes, it's correct. Okay, right. What we will do now to save time later is we'll put in our absolute cell references. So $A, $3, $C, $11. What are absolute cell references? Well, they're going to lock onto the table. Okay, so you need to do that. You don't want absolute cell references in B3. You want to lock onto the table. So as I move the formula down, to copy the formula down, to replicate it using autofill, the same formula will be copied down and it won't change and the formula will be correct. Okay, but I'm not going to copy it down yet, but I'm going to save myself time later by putting in my absolute cell references now, because I'm going to replicate this formula later on. Okay, so display the breakfast cost for a stay at Moonlight. Okay, so we can see here 14 nights. Okay, for a stay at Moonlight it was £10 per breakfast. So what I need to do is I need to use another VLOOKUP there, okay, to get that value. Equals VLOOKUP. Okay, again from there, comma, from which table? Same table. Okay, but this time it's column 3 because I'm getting my breakfast cost from column 3. Comma, false. Every time false. Every time false. Okay, close brackets. Right. Okay, that's great. But now I need to multiply it by the number of nights because it was 14 nights. So I need to multiply it by, use the multiply symbol by that. Okay, and that's 140. So it was £10 multiplied by 14 nights. It should be 140. That is correct. Display the total number of bookings made in 2019. Okay, so scroll down for this one, total number of bookings. Now, for this, you must use a count A. Count A. What is a count A? It will count not just numbers. If you use a count, it will only be counting numbers. Count A counts everything. It doesn't count blanks, by the way, but it counts or string values. So I need to count all the bookings, which is in column A. So I need to use a count A. Brackets. Highlight all these cells, not accommodation name. So A3 to A34, close brackets, and that should be 32, which is correct, the correct value there. Okay, and that's 6 marks. Done. So move on to 2. Enter formula to calculate the income, including breakfast, for Moonlight. Okay, let's go back up. So I need the income now. Okay, so that includes the breakfast. So this is going to be a simple multiplication and addition. So I need to multiply the cost per night by the number of nights. Okay, Then I need to add that to the cost of the breakfast. Now, I didn't need to use brackets there. Excel very cleverly worked out that it did BIDMAS, it does the multiplication first, then it does the addition. So that is the correct value there. Okay. If it makes you feel better, you can put brackets around the multiplication. It will just come out the same. It's up to you. You don't have to do that. As long as the figure is correct, you're going to get marks for that. Okay. So that is the income including breakfast and moonlight. Discount for early bookings for moonlight. This is the next one there. Okay. So if a holiday costs more than £1,300, they get a 10% off. So I need to use an equals if here. Okay. This is going to be relatively complex. So equals if. Okay. So logical test. What are we testing? So if that value there, okay, is greater than 1,300, okay, what if it's true? So if it is true, then they need to get a 10% discount. So I need to say then F3 multiplied by that value there, multiplied by, okay, comma. What if it's false? Okay, if it's false, let's just take that back actually. It's that, okay, multiplied by 5% for all other holidays. Okay, close brackets. So because this value was greater than 1,300, they're getting a discount. Now, again, we need to go in with the absolute cell referencing. Okay, and that needs to be around this value here, which I got from details. B, $14, $B, $15. Again, I'm thinking of the future. I'm going to be wanting to replicate that formula, copy it down using autofill. I need to put in an absolute cell reference. Now, back to the question, final income for moonlight. Okay, this should be relatively easy. It's just simply the income minus the discount, which is that. And that completes that part of the question. Right, now we're on to 3. Replicate all functions formulas for all bookings. If I put in my absolute cell reference, this should be easy. I just simply copy it down using autofill like that. I'll show you again. Okay, bottom right hand corner, copy down, drag down, autofill. Now, I've left this bit in. I have made a mistake here. You can see this NA. Okay, I didn't put in my absolute cell reference. So it's a bit of an education point there. What happens if you don't use your absolute cell referencing? So let's pop that in now and try again. So watch how this changes. Now I can drag that down there, and that's actually worked. Okay, I left out the absolute cell referencing. I forgot that there. It's worth just taking a moment just to randomly check some of these. So mid-season, cost per night should be 100. Is that correct? Yeah, it is correct. And what about just spot checking some of these? What about, okay, the breakfast, mid-season 3, I've got a figure of 8.80 there, 10 nights, so it should be £8 mid-season 3 for breakfast. Okay, it is £8. I think that's pretty much correct. Okay, just spot check one or two of those just to make sure that has actually worked. So I need to copy this formula down here. This doesn't need absolute cell referencing in. Do notice that some of my formatting has gone out there. Okay, I'll show you how to redo that in a minute. It's not a problem. Okay, I've had some problems with this formula here, so I've just redone it. What the formula looks like now, because when I copied it down, it said value. So just cut out that bit. Equals, if F3, so F3 there, if that is greater than 1,300, okay, details, bookings. So what I'm doing is applying the discount, getting the discount value from that sheet there from details, and then multiplying it by bookings F3. So I think before I did it the other way around, I multiplied F3 by that. It needs to be this way around here. So just a note there, just to fix that error. What we've got to do is multiply the 10% by this income value here to make that work. So now I can copy that down, and that's going to work like that. Okay, that's got the discount and the final income. That's straightforward. So that's just simply copying that down. Now, I said to you before that it's knocked all my formatting out here, so I'm just going to simply highlight that. I'm going to highlight the table again, and then click back there, and then I'll get my formatting back there. Okay, just to finish this off, use the functions to display the average cost per night, the total income for 2019. So we need to do average cost per night equals average brackets, and we want the cost per night there, which is this one, cost per night, close brackets like that. I'm going to change that to 2 decimal places. So just to change that down, total income per night, okay, equals sum of the income column here, final income column there, close brackets, and I'm going to change that to 2 decimal places. So change that up to 2 decimal places. I'm also going to change this column up to 2 decimal places. We're going to be formatting that to currency in the next question. So that actually completes B1B. So now we'll do B1C. Format the bookings worksheet so that currency values show the currency symbol with 2 decimal places. Let's go and do that now. So I'm highlighting all my currency values there, and I'm changing that to currency. It should default for you to GBP, Great British Pounds. If it doesn't, then you need to click on more number formats there, and you need to make sure that you're selecting pounds. It must be in pounds, not dollars, not anything else. It must be in pounds. Okay, number of nights doesn't need to be in pounds. Breakfast per day needs to be in pounds, so I'm going to highlight that column there. And again, I'm going to be selecting currency, and again, income also needs to be again in currency. It should be 2 decimal places. If you select it to currency, it will automatically default to 2 decimal places anyway for pounds and pence. So that's going into currency. And the final income is also going into currency as well. There, and I select currency there. Okay, so that is now in currency. Oh, there's one more thing, not to forget. These 2 values here, they also need to be in currency as well. Bookings, that doesn't need to be currency. Okay, headings are wrapped to use the space efficiently. Let's go do that now. That's easy to do. All we do is we highlight the headings there and we click wrap text like that. All data is visible. So yes, all data is visible here. Grid line displayed when printed. Okay, so let's go and do that now. So and it says to save it as B1 and print it. So we're going to deal with that now. So I've saved it now, and now I'm ready to print. Okay, it has gone onto 2 tables now. Print the bookings sheet in landscape showing the values on no more than 2 sides of A4. Okay, so now we go to print, and you should see your details in the header there as per the requirements, as per what we need to do. It's not ideal that we've got this kind of value on there, but it does say no more than 2 sides of A4. It will do. It's okay. One thing we do need to do though is, we can see it's in landscape, but we do need to get the grid lines on there. So for that, I need to go to page setup, and I need to go to sheet, and I need to tick this box here that says grid lines and click OK. So the grid lines now appear, and with my details on, I've saved it. No more than 2 sides of A4. Okay. Print the booking sheet, so then I'd print that off. Right, next part, display formula view and ensure all functions and formulas are displayed without truncation and print on no more than 3 sides of A4. Let's go and do that now. So we need to go back out of that. So you'd already printed that off. There's going to be 2 printouts from this. So now I need to go to formulas, show formulas. Okay, it's cut off some of my formulas, so I want to see that. I'm just going to spend some time now to just double click there, make sure we can see all the formulas there. It's really important. And because I've already printed it, we can see these dotted lines here, which represent grid lines. We can see where that's going to print. And it did specifically say that it wanted it on no more than 3 sides of A4. So I think I'm on no more than 3 sides of A4, but I want to get all my formulas in there like that. So now I go to File and Print. It's 5 sides of A4. The problem is that is really this sheet here that's causing me some grief. So let's deal with that now. Okay, you can see that is cut off there. Now, how are we going to cope with that? There's several things you could do. What I might do, if this was my exam, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Home, I'm going to highlight all my spreadsheet there. So rather than kind of mess about with kind of maybe removing rows, I'm just going to simply change that to 10, but not this. That needs to be 18. That's really important. When I'm going to change that, that still hasn't really made a difference there. Okay. That still goes on to, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to right click and I'm going to take out that row because it must be on 3 sides of A4. So I've taken out that row. Formula still works, hasn't changed the formula, it still works. So now I can go to print and now I'm on to 3 sides of A4, which is what I want, and I'm ready to print now. So without truncation, truncation means part of the formula is cut off, so none of my formula is cut off there. It works. I can see all my formula and I'm going to get my marks for that. So now I'm ready to print in landscape, and that completes task B1, and that is a total of 22 marks. Task B2. Lucia wants to know the bookings made for peak season. Filter the bookings worksheet to go to the accommodation peak season. So back in my spreadsheet and taken out the show formulas, back to normal view here. So I want to do a filter on this. Okay. So I need to add some filtering there. I need to add a filter to this column and click on the filter there and unselect all there. And I need to show peak season 1, 2 and 3. This shows only the bookings for peak season there. Display only accommodation name, season and final income. Accommodation name, season and final income. So I need to right click and hide these columns there. I'm not deleting them. It's really important that you don't delete it. You just hide it. We save it and as B2 and we print it showing the values. So saved it as B2 and then we go to file and print and we simply print that off. We might want to edit the header there. So just one thing I've noticed before I do press print is I need to go to view and page layout and I need to change the header to task B2. Really important that you do that. So back to home, back to view, and then we need to go back to normal view, and now we can go to print. So just a little exam tip there, always check that the details are correct. That should be task B2 before you go to press print and you're ready to go. And that is all for B2 and that completes B2. Okay, B3. Open new word processing document, enter task B3, you'll name your details in there. It doesn't say to change it to landscape, so I've done that there. Save the document as task B3. B3A, Lucille wants you to create a chart using the accommodation name and final income for peak season 1. Filter the bookings worksheet to show bookings for peak season 1. Use this worksheet to create a suitable chart. Save the spreadsheet as chart. So to do this, we need to open up our spreadsheet. We need to open up task B1. So we need to apply a filter to the bookings here. Okay, so remember, sort and filter there. And it specifically said peak season 1. So just select peak season 1 there and click OK. These are the peak season 1 bookings. So filter the bookings, bookings for peak season 1, use this worksheet to create a suitable chart. Okay, display accommodation name and final income for peak season 1. So accommodation name and final income. Now I'm not going to delete columns, I'm not going to hide columns, I'm just simply going to highlight that. Now on a laptop it's not particularly easy to do, but you highlight hold down the control button. On a Windows computer, CTRL is usually in the bottom left of the corner of the keyboard, and you can highlight the other column that you want. So I've highlighted the columns that I want. Suitable chart. It doesn't actually say what type of chart. So perhaps a bar chart would be useful. So just a reminder then, we use the control button to highlight the data we want. Then we go to insert and we choose a suitable chart there. Okay, now just read the question carefully. Fit for purpose. Okay, so what would make that fit for purpose? Maybe axis titles would be useful there. So I'm going to add some axis titles. Accommodation, spell it properly, 2 C's, 2 M's. accommodation name, and this one should be final income. Okay, so fit for purpose means you've got proper labeling on there. I don't think I need a legend on there. I'm happy with the blue color. I don't need to change that. Suitable title and values. Okay, so let's just edit that perhaps. Per accommodation, final income per accommodation. There. Now, if you do want to change it up and make it a bit kind of more fancy looking, I wouldn't go too overboard. If I were you, it's okay. That's okay. That's going to get you the 3 marks there. Save the spreadsheet as charts. Paste the chart into B3. So we're saving the spreadsheet as B3. So I'm saving my spreadsheet now, and I'm going to right click, copy, Control V into Word. Do not print at this stage. So let's move down. There's a bit more to this. Use the bookings worksheet to display only the data for accommodation and final income. Save the spreadsheet as B3B. Okay, so only the data for accommodation name and final income. So I just simply remember, right click, hide. We can probably take the graph out of that, and we save that as B3B. So now I've saved it as B3B. Okay, screenshot of the spreadsheet including column letters. I'm guessing that's what they want to see, is that you haven't just deleted the columns to do that, you've actually hidden them. So we print screen that, and then we can go underneath there and we can paste that into our document. And that really completes kind of the use of Excel at that point. So now we're into B3C. So B3C answers questions on document task B3. You need to write in the Word document. I'm just going to write on here just for ease of use. 1. Explain one advantage of using the sum function in a spreadsheet. So sum function, a sum function speeds up calculations because individual cells do not have to be added up. So imagine you've got a column, but 20 values in there. So you do A1 plus B1 plus C1. It's going to take you ages. If you just use a sum, you can just simply highlight the values and it speeds up processing. So we're not going to write it's more efficient. That's not really going to gain us much. We're going to say it speeds up calculations because individual cells do not have to be added up. We just highlight the whole lot. So we highlight all their cells. Now, I've gone off the sheet there, but that's what my answer would be. Okay, so perhaps I've just kind of tidied it up there. 1, highlight of cells we want to add. 2, a count if function could be used with the values for season. State how the results of this function could be useful to Lucia. So it's useful to Lucia because count if she can see how many bookings she has in each season. 3, state the purpose of a chart legend. So a chart legend is to identify data when there is more than one set of data. So that completes the spreadsheet question. And that is 8 marks for B3. And if we add that to what we got for B2, which was 22, we're now up to 30 marks. So that's easily well over half of section B. Now, I'd just like to say thanks for watching. Please make sure you watch the video through. Beware the pitfalls of some of the questions there, particularly some of the VLOOKUPs get quite complicated. I want to say a big thank you for watching the video. And please, as always, please like and subscribe. And we will complete this question in the next video. We'll complete the whole paper. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.